Members of Oklahoma's Army National Guard are serving right now in Kosovo. They're part of an assault helicopter battalion on a NATO peacekeeping mission.
Reagan Ledbetter and I recently went to Kosovo to see the training firsthand and to tell the stories of Oklahoma's own in uniform. We begin tonight with the mission and the reason the U.S. is there. Kosovo is a tiny country wedged in the center of the Balkan Peninsula in southeastern Europe. Surrounded by mountain ranges and home to 400,000 people, the capital city of Pristina, with its restaurants and shops, hustle and bustle with people on the go. Not far away, a different kind of hustle and bustle is happening as a crew aboard a Black Hawk helicopter is carrying out a NATO training exercise.
It's an honor to serve both Oklahoma and the world.
They're training members of the Hungarian Army. The main mission of the 244th Aviation Regiment of the Black Hawk Assault Helicopter Battalion is the fast transfer of people, equipment, and fuel. The helicopters can also provide 24/7 medical evacuations and air assault capabilities. 50 Oklahomans are in Kosovo.
Yeah, the group that we have here from Oklahoma is a stellar group of soldiers, and I'm very proud to be here with them.
The United States is part of a 27-nation NATO peacekeeping force. When Kosovo broke away from Serbia in the 90s, its ethnic Albanian population was subject to widespread brutality and violence from Serbian forces. A NATO bombing campaign led by the U.S. ended the attacks and eventually led to Kosovo's independence, although Serbia still considers Kosovo a breakaway province. The Kosovo Security Force is in charge of protecting geographic boundaries and sovereignty. But it only has about 10,000 active duty personnel and 5,000 reserves, so the role of NATO is critical. Specialist Childers is an aviation student at Oklahoma State.
Hopefully I get to fly one of these one day.
He put his studies on hold to serve his country and works as an aircraft electrician.
Being here, I'm really showing the people what Oklahoma's all about, how good we are down in the South, and just the people here, they're beyond nice.
The National Guard members each say they're happy to serve and committed to a much larger mission to maintain peace.
We're representing the state of Oklahoma. We're bringing kind of some of our ways of life here. And I just want them to know that what we do here is because of their support back home.
And tomorrow night at 6, Reagan and I will have more from our Oklahoma soldiers in Kosovo, including what they miss most and what they want Oklahomans to know.
Looking forward to that.
It's an honor.
We're happy to not only serve the people back home, but also here.
Newson6 went to Kosovo to introduce you to our men and women from Oklahoma serving there as part of a NATO peacekeeping force. Tonight, Reagan Ledbetter and I have what they miss most, how they've been received in Kosovo, and what they want folks back home to know about their experience. Being 6,000 miles away from home, away from those you love, is hard. Sergeant Shiflett has a 3-year-old little boy back home, and his wife is expecting a baby this summer, another little boy.
You have to watch your kids grow up on FaceTime, and you don't get to go to the doctor's appointments to see the ultrasound. So
this isn't Sergeant Galbraith's first deployment, but it doesn't get any easier.
It's still tough for my wife and my boys. They are constantly telling me how much they miss me.
Sergeant Stan Campiano is from Guthrie and says support from home, including cards, letters, and care packages, mean a lot.
It's really hard to put into words how much we miss everybody, and we have to remain strong, we have to remain resilient.
Captain Norvell also misses his family.
Missing some of the basketball games, the soccer games, the school events, it's definitely hard to miss those things.
Specialist Childers is an Oklahoma State student and is the youngest soldier we talked to.
I miss my family. I do miss them a lot, but while I've been here, I've made a whole new family.
This military family, so far away from home, is making a difference on the international stage.
This is one of 2 Blackhawks brought from Oklahoma here to Kosovo. This is one of the helicopters Oklahoma service members use to train NATO partners. Although Kosovo officially declared its independence from Serbia in 2008, Serbia still doesn't recognize Kosovo as a sovereign nation. NATO has maintained a peacekeeping force in Kosovo for 20 years.
The Americans and the militaries of other NATO nations are housed at Camp Bondsteel in the southeastern part of the country.
Just to give you a little perspective, 1.6 million people live here. Compare that to about 4 million roughly in the state of Oklahoma. And Oklahoma is 16.5 times the size of Kosovo.
The Oklahoma Guard members want folks back home to know they're honored to serve. And the people of Kosovo have been more than welcoming.
It's heartwarming, to say the least. They're very thankful. You go out in the streets, they shake your hand, kids want to play with you and high-five you, so it's phenomenal to get to serve Oklahoma and the people in Kosovo.
Without having a solid foundation back at the house, being here and doing what I do would not be possible.
Tomorrow night at 6, we'll have our interview with a man from Kosovo who spent 28 years living in Oklahoma. He has great insight into why the mission of these Oklahomans and NATO is so important for his home country. News on 6 is giving you a first-hand look this week of Oklahomans deployed to Kosovo. Out of 400,000 people who live in the capital city of Pristina, Reagan, Ledbetter and I found an Albanian Kosovar who lived much of his life in Oklahoma. He tells us why it's so critical to get help from NATO, America, and some of Oklahoma's own.
As we meet Andi Batucci at one of Pristina's many cafes, he tells us about his time in Oklahoma that started as a high school exchange student and then college at UCO.
Found a job, started working, created family. 28 years later, here we are.
After those nearly 3 decades as an Oklahoman, the lure of family and familiarity now has him back in Kosovo.
Are you an OU fan or an OSU fan?
Oh man, you can do that. I'm an OU fan.
He's also a huge fan of NATO and its peacekeeping presence in his home country. He followed the violence, strife, and sense of helplessness in Kosovo in the 90s when it split from Serbia, and that led to violence.
Having NATO here, I think, gives people some peace, especially with what's going on in Ukraine.
And he says having a NATO presence in Kosovo has helped to build one of Europe's youngest countries.
At one point, more than 1 million Albanian Kosovars fled the violence in the country. But over the years, thanks in large part to the efforts of NATO and its peacekeeping mission, that's changing, and more people are moving back and contributing to the country's economy.
Kosovo is a developing country with an upper middle income economy. It's experienced solid economic growth over the last decade. This is Sergeant Shiflett's second deployment to Kosovo.
I like knowing the fact that our presence here brings comfort to the people here.
With its mission to keep peace, it affords people like myself to think about also moving here.
Batucci hopes it will lead to more educational and employment opportunities for his children. Stability leads to security, peace leads to prosperity.
I was shocked to come here and see how much they want us here, and it's an honor to be here.
They're doing the right thing, that by being here, they're preserving the peace in this part of Europe.
Batucci is proud of his ties to Oklahoma and the role Oklahomans are playing internationally during their deployment.
So Oklahomans should be proud of their men and women.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we thank them. I thank them as an Oklahoman, and I thank them as a Kosovar Albanian as well.
Their deployment to Kosovo lasts until this fall. There are a lot of pictures and videos from our trip posted on Facebook and on newson6.com. We also have videos of the Black Hawk helicopters in action and greetings from the soldiers we interviewed saying hello to their loved ones.